All right, thank you for joining us, everyone. We've got a very educational webinar for you today. We'll be doing a deep dive into a search engine optimization strategy that can really help you unlock more organic search traffic and really more importantly, unlock more sales. Specifically, we'll be sharing how to automate SEO with high converting customer data. Now, before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. All participants during this webinar will be muted for our approximately 45-minute webinar. That may go a little bit longer depending on the Q&A, which reminds me, you can submit your questions at any time by selecting the Q&A button at the bottom of your On24 console. It's a little purple button there. And Sean and I will be helping you out at the end of the session with getting your answers. And of course, if we don't get to your question, we'll make sure to reply afterwards. My name is Bob Angus, and I'll be your moderator today. I'm a strategic marketing consultant working with SLI. I'm an e-commerce evangelist. I absolutely love great shopping experiences, and that's why I love working with SLI. But I've also helped merchants out when I worked with PayPal, Symantec, and Commission Junction. I was also a contributing editor at Practical E-commerce. I'm joined today by Sean Ryan, and Sean is SLI's founder and Chief Innovation Officer. Now Sean actually has a very long history with SEO, and it started, well, before this, but he actually has a great story where at the first ever Search Engine Strategy Conference back in 1999 here in San Francisco, he was representing a search engine, and there's a little untold story that's pretty cool. Google was actually looking for their first ever director of search quality. You might know somebody who does that now, and that position was eventually filled, and they hired Matt Cutts. Well, Sean was approached for that same role by that recruiter when he was working at NBCI, and she asked whether she could come down and have a cup of coffee and discuss the role with him. And she assumed that Sean was based in California, so when he replied that he'd love to have her come down and get a cup of coffee with her, but she'd have to hop on a plane to New Zealand. Interestingly, Sean never heard from her again. But so much has gone into SEO, and Sean has been rocking it all these years. So he's going to share a lot of his insights today about search engine optimization. And specifically, what you'll learn in this webinar: how to automatically improve your SEO using machine learning. We'll discuss how to quickly identify long-tail keywords that have high conversion rates, how to scale your development of SEO-enabled landing pages without any extra work, and how to generate compound revenue growth quarter after quarter. So, as an intro, SLI has a long history of innovation, and innovation in particular in the SEO space. And they have the automated SEO product Site Champion, which was actually first introduced in 2004. And that product has really stood the test of time and provided a lot of SLI clients with exceptional value over those 12 years. And since 2004, SLI has also brought out many other products and applications that help in the e-commerce space. And that culminated in the release of the Buyer Engine just earlier this year. And what the Buyer Engine is, it's a machine learning platform that takes data from multiple sources that you provide or that we pull in and powers a variety of e-commerce applications. And actually, we're going to focus on one of those applications again today, which is around SEO, and that's Site Champion. Now, those applications power something that's incredibly potent for e-commerce businesses and retailers. And here at SLI, we talk a lot about businesses that can create a virtuous cycle are flat out gonna win. Those businesses generate compound growth quarter after quarter, year after year, and it really starts with, we all work on and take data to create a better, that Buyer Engine creates a better user experience, which leads to more conversions or more behavioral leads, which in turn, thanks to SEO, generates more traffic, which leads to more folks entering into that experience. And it's a virtuous cycle again and again and again. And it's really wonderful. It's big data and machine learning at its best. And really, you're able to put that together because of the Buyer Engine. But and there are lots of machine learning solutions out there, but one component to that virtuous cycle that is often missing is that more traffic part. The question really is like, how can a business take advantage of all that amazing behavioral data and machine learning to help them drive more traffic? And again, that's what we're really going to focus on today, because search engine optimization or organic traffic is the key to that. And no question, organic search traffic from Google and Bing and elsewhere is incredibly important to your site traffic mix. In fact, you probably already are doing it pretty well, but it's never enough, right? You're working incredibly hard, getting great results, but the ask is always for more. And to compound that and really complicate things, the real estate on the search results page is getting really tight. Relevant search results that are ideal for the consumer are what the search engines want to deliver. Now, more and more, that solution to providing better search results comes in the form of displaying sponsored ads and product listing ads, local shopping options that are taking up prime real estate that in the past was really dedicated to those organic search results. And that's not to mention, if the products that you're selling also have some news about them, or images that are really popular, or YouTube videos, those are getting added into that results page mix as well. So you're supposed to fight tooth and nail to get on page one, but page one feels like it's shrinking. And for that shrinking space, competition is fierce. Everyone in your space wants to win it too. One thing that I recommend, and Sean is going to dig a lot deeper into this, is you really can help yourself by finding and optimizing for keyword terms that you can win at and still drive significant sales. For example, I searched for dinnerware set, and the results are stacked with monster brands that have an army of folks optimizing to win on that term. And that's a big category term or product area. So it's incredibly difficult to crack page one. So, but there really is a way that you can win, and a place where you can win, and that's really with long tail keyword terms that still convert very, very well. But you're going to be at the top. Look at your site search results and find terms that are unusual, but that convert, or really what your customer's intent is, and that's going to be that indicator. So, for example, how about instead of dinnerware set, moose dinnerware set? There's a lot less competition there, but again, because if your customers are searching for moose dinnerware set, they're more likely to buy, and you're most likely to be on page one. So, boom, you can really win on moose dinnerware set. You still have those product listing ads at the top, but you're going to be able to get ahead and beat out, and actually, again, in this example, one of SLI's customers is beating out Walmart and Amazon in that space, which is really nice. That's excellent. Wouldn't you love to always be able to beat out Amazon in their placements? Go for moose dinnerware dishes or dinnerware sets or dishes to get more sales. Bottom line, that long tail keyword is going to convert. And then, expand. Bears, wolves, caribou, whatever, you can, whatever products you have, you can really go after. And those product options are truly endless. Now, of course, endless is a scary term for us folks who are executing our search engine optimization. Because that instantly becomes a big problem. You don't have an endless budget and 25 hours a day to make all that work happen for your thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of product SKUs. There is no way to manually build great optimized landing pages at that type of scale on your own or with your agency. Manual creating and maintaining pages is very tedious and time consuming. And you want to create more pages and you want to do it right, and it takes some time to optimize those pages so that they start ranking well. And just in time, as soon as you got that done, you want to tweak things. Maybe there's a new trend or some seasonality or changes in shopping behavior. It is endless. It's absolutely crazy. You have to be able to scale when we talk about long-tail keywords. And fortunately, there is a solution. So with that, I'm actually going to pass it over to Sean to go into Site Champion. Tell us about that. How we're going to get that scale, Sean.
Hey, yeah, thanks very much, Bob. And just checking you can hear me okay.
Yes, we are hearing you loud and clear from New Zealand, bright and early in New Zealand time. Thank you for joining us, Sean.
No, you're welcome. So I'm going to start by talking about the inspiration behind this product. Here at SLI, we started with site search, and that's the core of what we do. So we power the site search for hundreds of e-commerce sites around the world. And, one of the things we learned very early on as we started to power the search for e-commerce sites is that the data that you get, that you collect from watching what people search for and the behavior the way they interact with the search results and with your site after search is extremely valuable. And there's a lot of different ways you can use that data. The search box is that one place where on your site where people can tell you, this is what I expect to find on your site, and this is the language that I use to find those products. That's really valuable, and we use this data in our machine learning to improve the search and other services that we provide. We also encourage our customers to use this data to improve their search, improve their product range, and to help with search engine optimization. and that was one of the realizations we had very early on, is that the keywords people type into site search are very similar to the keywords that people type into other engines. Now, there is, as I said, we power this on hundreds of different sites, so there's a lot of data that we're collecting. We're seeing billions and billions of search queries. And to give you a feeling for the variety of data, I'm going to show you a product we have called SLI Live. And just bear with me while I try and share my screen, and that should come through in just a second. And what SLI Live does is it's a product that's available to all of our customers that gives a snapshot of what's being searched for on your site right now. Now, there's very few tools where you can see what's happening on your site right now, and this is really interesting from a sort of voyeuristic point of view. What I'm showing you on the screen now is sample search terms across all of our customers. And it's kind of a little bit mesmerizing. We see our customers put this up in their e-commerce areas so they can see, what are people doing on their site right now, and that may be a response to an email campaign, or something that's happening on, an ad on TV, or something else that's happening somewhere in the world that's influencing what people are searching for on their site. And one of the things you'll notice is there's just a large variety of search terms. We see in any one day on a typical customer site, we'll see 20% of search terms are unique. We haven't seen them before. And this is, for sites that are doing, millions of search terms. And you just sort of wonder, well, what is it that people are searching for? Some of these you're like, oh, well, that makes sense. But then you'll see people putting in part numbers and combinations of names and numbers. You'll see, there's a 12-inch faucet, and they're using the word inch rather than the quotation marks. It really is fascinating to watch this. And, of course, the realization is that there's a lot of useful data in this stream. And I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and go back to the slide deck. So what we do is we provide a dashboard that lets our customers, that summarizes this data and allows you to, you don't have to watch it live and then work out what to do with it. You get various reports, and you can see the search terms that aren't performing well, and you can take actions to improve that. You can so you can sometimes discover that people are searching for products that you don't carry, and that gives you some data that maybe we should be carrying that. We've had some great case studies where retailers have earned a lot of money from looking at that data. But from very early on, we also recommended that our customers use this data as part of their keyword discovery process for search engine optimization. It's a great way of working out, well, what keywords should I be optimizing for? Because the keywords that people are typing into your product are the same keywords. The keywords people are typing into your site are the same keywords people are typing into Google and the other search engines. And the first example I brought up was someone was searching for listening center on Make Sure Learning, and you do a search for listening center, and yay, they've got a page that's optimized for that, in part because they're using this product. So that was the inspiration. We saw that the data from site search was extremely valuable, and we found a way of automating it. So how do we do that? So the way the Site Champion product works is it starts with shoppers putting keywords into the search box, into your site search box. The buyer engine then analyzes that data and identifies the most popular terms. The buyer engine then also maps each of those keywords to the best products and services on your site. And the Site Champion app then creates optimized pages using this data and allows them to be indexed, allows them to be found and to be indexed. And then shoppers, people searching on the various search engines, discover these pages and come and make purchases. So let's go into this in a little bit more detail. What does one of these pages look like? So this is an example of a Site Champion page from the site, US Toy. And basically what this page does is it follows Search Engine Optimization 101 best practices. So it has the keyword in the page title. None of this is rocket science. It's all best practices. It has the keyword in the URL, and a nice static-looking URL. It has the keyword that we're optimizing for in the H1 tag. It has the keyword naturally throughout the page. And now this is really important. This is coming from the product descriptions of the products that were found are most relevant for that particular keyword. And a couple points with this. There's all sorts of keyword fragments through here. And this page is also updated regularly if the most relevant products change, or you may have products coming and going from your catalog. And so it's also dynamic, and that's also a really important signal as well. And of course, we follow the best practices around the meta tags on the site, putting in keyword meta tags and description meta tags, and then. Really importantly, we also put in related links onto the page, and I'll spend a little bit more time talking about these, but these allow other pages to be discovered and sends very strong signals to the search engines about the relevance of those pages through the internal linking that happens via these related links. And of course, we also have a mobile optimized version of the same page that follows all the best practices around what you do with mobile pages for search engine optimization. Now, Bob talked about our history of products, and we came out with the mobile product very early on, just a few years after the first smartphones came out. In fact, we were experimenting with mobile products before smartphones came out. There used to be a thing called WAP search, and we were experimenting with that. That wasn't a goer, but mobile phones, smartphones, obviously have taken off. And I think just recently Google announced that there are more people searching on mobile devices now than on desktop, and they're putting more focus. Their mobile index is their number one index. The desktop is secondary because of that. So it's really important to have this. So we'd always had mobile versions of pages for our customer sites. We'd had a mobile product for many, many years. And this was really important. Last year, as Google saw this trend, they said that pages that do not have mobile versions of those pages will rank lower, or they'll be penalized in the mobile index. And because there's so many people searching on that, that's really important. In the industry, it was referred to as Mobilegeddon. And the customers of ours that were using this were set up extremely well because we had these mobile optimized versions of these pages. And they saw very little impact from the Mobilegeddon update. Here's a snapshot from Google for this page ranking both in the desktop and the mobile search results. Now, it's not just about creating the page to get this result. That's one part of it, but the page also has to be discovered, and there's a bunch of other signals that the search engines need to see in order for these pages to rank well. So I'll just talk about how they're discovered. One standard way that these pages are discovered are via sitemaps that we publish and update every day. And the sitemaps are basically a link from the robots.txt file that points to a file that has a list of all the URLs that you want to be indexed. And Google and the other search engines can programmatically pull this list down and discover these pages. So that's a fairly standard way of allowing the pages to be discovered, but it doesn't give any signals as to, beyond the URL structure and the information on the page. It doesn't give any signals about which of these pages are most important for different keywords. One of the ways we do that is through internal linking. And so often our customers will put a link to a popular searches page somewhere in their navigation. So they'll have a link like this. That will then link off to a page that will look something like this page here. And with this page from Pet Food Direct, I'm going to dive into the internal linking structure that's created through these related searches for one of these keywords, for this keyword rabbit food, which is the second one on the left under the popular searches title there. So this is the site champion page for the keyword rabbit food. And this page here is like the one I showed from US Toy earlier. It contains all the features, but I'm going to focus just on these related searches that are shown on the page. Now, there's related searches shown here at the top, and there are also related searches shown beneath each product. And these related searches beneath each product can actually be pulled programmatically onto your site and be shown on that product page, and can be another way for these pages to be discovered. We have an XML feed we can give our customers to do that. Now, you can see, if you look at these top related searches, there's about 10 of them here, and I'm just going to take a closer look at them. So here we are with rabbit food. We have related searches for various types of guinea pig food. We've got some dog food, and we've got various brands that are related. So each of these keywords is related to this keyword rabbit food, and each of these is a link to the page that's then optimized for this particular term. And what the internal link is saying, the signal it's giving, is that this page that it's linking to is relevant for these keywords. And so each of these links is giving a signal that's interpreted by the search engines that helps them determine whether they're relevant for different keywords. And it's important not just the page that's been linked to, the anchor text that's linking to it, but also the page from which it's linked. If that's relevant to the topic as well, then it gives another signal. Now, each of these pages then has its own related searches. So if you look at the related searches for Oxbow guinea pig food, then they are, I'm just going to bring those up now, then they are, some of them are some of the same terms that were there for rabbit food, but there's also some other new terms that are more specific to Oxbow guinea pig food, and so on. If you look at the search terms for Oxbow, again, there's some new terms. Some of those existing terms, Merrick backcountry is less related to those other terms. It's more about dog food, so it's starting to create another little network down there. Oxbows is related to a bunch of those different terms, I think, and so on. And what you end up here is with just from the terms that were on that rabbit food and looking at the related terms on each of those pages, you end up with this very complex network of internal linking, with each one of those links sending a signal to Google and the other search engines about what each of those pages is relevant for. And now the really interesting thing here is this is not something that's just created and is static, but it's very, very dynamic, and it's updated every day. And I think one of the really important things here is these links are there primarily. We first included these links and found and we've got a patented algorithm for determining these links. These were first put there not for search engine optimization purposes, but for the user experience, because these are a really good way for people to find related content. And we find that people really engage with these links. And so, and I think that's one of the really important factors, is to ensure whenever you're doing anything with search engine optimization that you're focused primarily on the user content, and less so on on just trying to optimize for search engine optimization. So as I said, these are updated every day. So new links can be added. The order of the links can be changed. The content on the pages can be changed. If your product catalog changes and you've got no results for a particular keyword, we'll then take that page out of the index, so we'll put a no index tag on the page. We'll stop linking to it. If we think that the quality of the page has dropped, So, for example, we may look at a signal such as the click-through rate on that page. Then we will remove the page from the index. We'll stop linking to the page. We'll remove the page from the sitemap. So all of this is done dynamically. So if you can imagine the effort that it would take to create this sort of network of pages and links between these pages, and the effort involved to update these links, to keep the links relevant, to keep the content relevant, trying to do that manually would be extremely, extremely difficult. And so this solution that does this in an automated fashion, driven by the activity of the users on your site, works extremely well. And I want to just talk a little bit about how this interacts with the search engine optimization efforts that you may be doing yourself, the manual search engine optimization efforts. So whatever size your team, whether it's part of a person or a team of people, you've got a finite amount of resources, and you want to focus on the most popular search terms, the ones that are going to be driving most of the traffic to your site. And they're the ones that you want to be optimizing for. But at some stage, you're going to hit the limit of what that team can do. And that's where you need to have some sort of automated solution to handle the rest of the rest of the keywords. And there's a lot of traffic in those keywords. And so a solution like this ties hand in hand with your manual search engine optimization efforts. And I just want to show you an example of how this works for a typical customer, where they go live with our search, and we start the buyer engine starts identifying those keywords, identifying the popular products and services associated with those keywords, creating the pages, allowing those pages to be found, and Google starts finding those, and people start clicking on those pages. So what this is showing is the number of referrals that are going to the site champion pages that have been created for a particular customer. And so as the volume of pages created goes up and they get found, the volume of traffic goes up. And it sort of reaches a natural sort of level. We do see increases year on year as well, but there's sort of a rapid acceleration that happens over the first few months. And more importantly, it's not just traffic that they're getting, but we're tracking the revenue associated from people that click on those pages. And for this customer that was getting 30-odd thousand referrals a month, they were seeing up to $100,000 a month of revenue. And we do have examples of customers who've had much, much more success. I was looking at a retailer recently who had 50 million referrals in 1 year that generated $16 million of revenue that we tracked from those referrals. But this was a big bricks and mortar retailer. And with all SEO efforts, you've got to remember that a lot of those people that will find the product online will also go down to the store and buy it. So there's an offline impact of the SEO success that you have as well that you need to be mindful of when you're looking at the returns you're getting from the efforts that you're making. So I now want to sort of talk about some new analytics and controls that we've released to help manage the Site Champion product. And this is really exciting because we've really turned this into a tool rather than just sort of setting and forgetting it. We've turned it into a tool that you can use if you want and if you have the resources to do it, to get even more out of the product. So just a few weeks ago, we released some additional analytics that easily lets you look at and see which Site Champion pages have been created and the revenue that each of those pages has been generating and how many referrals have been going to those pages. You can also see the status of that page, whether it's in the index, whether it's had any additional edits made to it. And we have added the ability to easily take pages out of the index. If you have if Site Champion creates a page for a keyword that is one of the keywords you're manually optimizing for, and you've got a page optimized for that, then it's really easy to remove a page, to say what you want to happen with that page, whether you want to 404 it, whether you want to redirect it to another page. And also, interestingly, you can optimize these pages further. So you can go in and change the tag, change the title. You can go in and add additional content to the pages, all via this tool. So this is just part of our commerce console. And we're just about to release some additional analytics in here. Often what we see is our customers using these types of controls in conjunction with the Google Search Console. And so what we're now doing is we're pulling in data from the Google Search Console so that for each of these pages you can see the number of appearances, the keywords that it's been ranking for, the average position for those keywords, the click-throughs rates, the number of clicks. And this is really important because it gives you a little bit of direction for where you want to manually make adjustments if you're going to use the controls to manually make adjustments to these pages. So, for example, if you've got a page that's ranking at position 4 for a keyword, and it's getting some good traffic and generating some good revenue, then if you can do some manual search engine optimization efforts to that page to help it rank a little higher, then you can get incrementally more traffic if you can get it up to position 3 or position 2, or ideally position 1. So this is a really good way of giving you a little bit of direction by looking at these pages that are generating traffic that have an opportunity to just bump up another place or two. And so we're really excited. This should be released in the next few weeks. So I've covered off quite a bit here, and just before I talk to you about how you can get this, I want to touch on why this product has had such good longevity. As Bob said, we released this back in 2004, and search engine optimization has gone through massive changes over that period of time, and this product has continued to thrive and to drive traffic and drive revenue for our customers. And I think the reason why it has worked so well, obviously we've worked on the product, we've put resources into the product and adjusted it as the industry's changed. But the focus is very much on providing a good user experience for the people that land on those pages. And of all the things that Google's trying to find, Google and the other search engines, is trying to identify when they're adjusting their algorithms is this page a good experience for the people that land on it, and if it is, then they'll rank it well. And so by focusing on the user experience first and foremost, I think this is why these pages have performed so well and continue to perform well. And that's not just a subjective estimate of the user experience, or we see the objective evidence in that people are going on to perform transactions after they land on this page, and revenue is being generated. So if you're an existing SLI customer, and I see that we do have a number of customers that have signed up, if you're not using this product, just ask your customer success manager, and we can get this implemented for you in days. If you're not an existing customer, then just talk to your SLI rep. Sign up and you can get better conversions, improved average order value, and the increased traffic through this customer. And our customers do see great value for this product. Lakeshore Learning did a case study for us. They saw that for every dollar they spend, they're getting $127 of sales in return, which is a fantastic return. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Bob to handle any questions that we have.
Excellent. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, and it really is amazingly powerful. I mean, using that machine learning to not only help with that keyword discovery, but then really put up the pages in an automated fashion. But really, back to what you just said, Sean, is like Google is looking for great customer experiences, and these landing pages deliver great customer experience. as well as check all the check boxes for great on-page SEO practices. But at the end of the day, it's getting more sales for you for those long tail terms and for all your products. That is excellent. So yeah, we are going to take some questions now. Have a couple in, I see. So definitely go to the Q&A button at the bottom of your console there. Now, before we jump into the questions, I highly recommend that everyone check out the numerous case studies and industry guides and best practice articles that are on the SLI website. That's actually found on our resources page. Just go to www.sli-systems.com/resources. So, Sean, with that, let's go ahead and dive into some of the questions that we have here. All right, well, so Jackie asked, how does this help with my link building? So, yeah, that's a great point, because we talked about a lot about the on-page items. What about the off-page or link building tactics?
Yeah, so a good question. So the Site Champion automatically creates the internal links and builds the internal links within these pages. And as I mentioned, you can also, the additional internal links, we can also have links from your product pages through to these. And if we're powering the navigation on your site, then we can have these same related searches on the navigation pages pointing to the Site Champion pages. But in terms of external links, that's another thing that you can do. Again, with the analytics, you can look and see, well, what pages are performing well, which do we think could perform a little bit better, which are converting well, and then that can give you some direction to your external link building program, so you can build up external links and further optimize the pages through that. So really good question.
Okay. Next, we have a question that's related to user-generated content and how that impacts SEO. So George asked, what product page content do you use to pack the keywords on a Site Champion page? So again, in particular, what about user-generated content like reviews or Q&A or comments?
Yes, good question, and hi, George. Yes, so on these pages we can pull in any content that we have available. So often, one of the things I think is really good practice is to, when you're pulling in that content, to pull in that review content as well, or snippets of that review content. And it really is a little bit of a judgment call as to how much of that you want to pull in onto these pages. But if you can identify that there are relevant reviews associated with those products that have content associated with the keyword that you're optimizing for, then that should be pulled in there as well. And the nice thing about having user-generated content like that is it's typically unique to your particular site based on the reviews or the questions and answers that have happened associated with people who have bought your product. And so that's really good in terms of helping you stand out from anyone else, because you've got your own unique content there. So you really want to leverage that. And kind of related to that, it's not just the user-generated content, but it's any other content. Often what we'll do is we'll be indexing things like videos and non-product content, so blog posts, how-to guides, etc. And you want to put snippets of those onto the pages as well. And this is not just for search engine optimization, but it also improves the user experience, because if someone's searching for a particular keyword, they're interested in the product and the product information, and as a retailer you want to show them that and get them to buy it. but they may be at a different stage of the buying cycle. They may be wanting to discover a little bit more, see a video about it. If you've got that video, you want to bring all of that onto the page. If you've got some how-to guides, then bring those onto the page. That way they can see that you're a resource that, an authoritative resource and someone that they should be buying from.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, because you're right. It's way more than just the product information that's there that indicates a great experience for the customer. There's so much more, just as you have on your site. Another question we have is from John on how do these landing pages handle pagination and canonicalism or canonicalization. Yeah, I always get that. I trip up on that word every single time. Are those pages canonical?
Yeah. What we do with the pagination, and it's an interesting question and something that we've had various internal and external discussions around. I remember at one of the search engine strategies conferences, or one of the SEO conferences, I forget exactly which one, someone had said, you should just allow... sorry, to directly answer your question, what we do with the pagination is we put no follow tags on the pagination, so we don't allow those second and third pages of results to be indexed. And the reason for that is typically they end up being less relevant for those keywords. I have had people say, you should allow them to be indexed, and it'll blow out the number of pages that will get indexed, and allow the bots to follow all of the facets and the filters, and so you end up with all these combinations of keywords and filters and pages. However, I think by doing that, you're decreasing the quality of the pages that are in the index, and you're ending up making it much more difficult for Google to work out which pages should be ranking for which keywords. So what we do, the decision we made is to have less pages. There's still a lot of pages, but just have one page related to each keyword, and we don't allow the variations with different pagination and filter selected.
Excellent. Okay. Now, another question is from Todd. Can I use this for my AdWords campaigns? So for paid search.
Yeah, and we see our customers using these pages or wanting to use these pages for paid search campaigns, because they're pages that are created that are optimized for converting related to a particular keyword. And if you're buying that keyword on Google, this is a way of sort of having these pages created automatically that are related, and it's much better to send someone to a specific page associated with a keyword than a generic page, because you're going to get higher conversion rate. It's going to be a better user experience. And again, Google's looking for those user experience signals for the paid results as well, even though you're paying them money. And so we do see a lot of customers using these pages for that purposes. We end up putting a little bit of either giving a slightly different variation of the URL or putting some tracking information so that we can track those separately, but it is something that's widely done across our customer base.
Okay. Rebecca asks a question related to doorway pages. So, are your clients still seeing success with Google's update to their definition of a doorway page? So I think, Google always is looking to improve things in their algorithm, and doorway pages has always been a topic.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question as well. And the short answer is yes. We haven't seen any decreases in traffic to these pages, any substantial decreases to these pages over the many years that we've been that this product's been available since 2004. And I said that there's been a lot of changes to the to search engine optimization over those times, and these pages, if anything, have got more and more traffic to them. And I think the reason is because we're focused on the user experience. And I think what happens is we end up creating pages where there's no other equivalent page that's really relevant for that keyword on your site. So it may be associated with a keyword and it's got a collection of products and information. And there's nowhere else on that site where you have that view into that particular set of products and product information. So what we're seeing is Google continues to rank these pages. They continue to get traffic. They continue to drive revenue. And I think that success that we're seeing across our customers is, to us, the strongest signal that Google doesn't see these as doorway pages.
Excellent. Right, yeah, this is not duplicate content in any way or just a superficial doorway page. You know, these are true product landing pages that customers love and buy from. Excellent. Doug asks, how do you structure pricing for Site Champion?
Yeah, good question, Doug. This product is priced on a performance basis, so we have a lot of confidence that this product works, and you only get paid if you only get charged if the product delivers traffic to your site. So we charge based on a price per click model, based on the number of referrals that go to your site. Our pricing is 30 cents per click, which I think you'll find is substantially cheaper than anything else you're doing. And I guarantee that you'll get a positive return from that. You saw what Lakeshore Learning got with $127 for every dollar they spent. I can't guarantee you'll get quite that return, but I guarantee that you'll get a positive return on the investment you make. And because there's no other upfront cost associated with that, it's a fairly risk-free proposition for you.
Yeah, pay for performance is always a winning strategy there. Okay, and one last question. I know we actually have gone a little bit over time, but really great discussion. I love this. Samantha asked, does this replace my SEO agency? Yeah, I know your answer to this, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, as I said, if you've got an SEO agency, they're going to be advising you on your overall SEO tactics. They're going to be helping you work on those most important terms that you're working on. They should be using the data that we're generating to help with their keyword discovery. The agencies can actually use the tools that we have to further optimize the pages, to diagnose what's happening with the analytics that we're providing. So no, this does not replace your SEO agency. It's a tool for them that should help them do the job better.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think back to that hierarchy when you looked at rabbit food, that's just such a great indicator of all the different related links and other keywords and just great things that you could put into practice anywhere on your site. Excellent. Well, Sean, thank you so much. This has been a very, very helpful conversation about SEO. I know traffic is near and dear to everyone's heart, and ranking well on Google is something we always strive for because it works. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Again, for more information about Site Champion or all the SLI products, definitely go to www.sli-systems.com/resources, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thank you.